I figured I'd say something about Iron Lung while it's still new and in theaters. I think it's going to be a love it or hate it movie. You're either going to really, really get into it or not vibe with it at all. And I don't mean that in a this was made for the fans type of way, which, in my opinion, is something people say when they want to like a movie even though they think it's not very good. But I think it's in a you will either love it or think it's incredibly boring way. For me, I was much more of the former, although I was prepared to be a sycophant from the onset. It is very impressive for such a small budget. To talk about the tangible quality of the movie first, I think overall it was very, very, very good. There were a handful of issues, but otherwise everything was solid. The visuals are fantastic, the sound design is great, the writing is very good, and the performances are much better than anticipated. The main issues, which are tangible issues that I think anyone could recognize, have to do with visual clarity in some instances and dialogue mixing. There were just a handful of moments where you couldn't quite tell what you were looking at or tell what was meant to be heard in the dialogue. And I don't think it was in a way that it was intended. It seemed more like perhaps a result of not anticipating how it would sound in a theater or something along those lines. It's very clearly not going to be for everyone. It's a slow burn and is much more focused on building dread than it is jump scares, for example. Even my friends that I saw it with were saying they were nodding off a bit, but admittedly we saw it at a very late screening after work. Toward the very end of the movie, I thought I may genuinely need to throw up. It got to be so visceral. There are no pulled punches. But what I find to be much more engaging and interesting regarding this movie and the game is the interpretations to be had. Upon watching the movie, I realized just how well thought out of a story this actually is. The movie actually adding some good dimension to it. There's a pretty overt religious tone to it, with the whole quiet rapture and mentions of Eden in the last tree. At this moment, I interpret this all as both Ragnarok and Genesis, a grim reflection of man's beginnings and his ultimate penitence. But is that a just penitence of a crime committed, or a false one falling onto an innocent? Or maybe self-made penitence brought on by internal fears and doubts? Mark is man, as a whole, represented. The Iron Lung is a self-made prison. It represents his guilt, his remorse, his loathing of himself and of his own actions, and serves as his coming to God. I believe the creature in the film is akin either to God or to the serpent in Genesis, possibly even a mix of both, depending on how you want to read it. It offers temptation, and it also seems to offer some sort of salvation. Perhaps it's a nihilistic view of God, one that has succumbed to the idea that there is no greater point to anything. Ultimately, the resolution to this penitence I view as an existentialist one. You make your own meaning. You cannot hopelessly long for the past and its rationale. You must do what you can to survive and move forward. Ultimately, as I think you can tell, I was very impressed with this overall product. I think Mark and all those involved put in a remarkable effort and made something really interesting. And I hope to see more in this line.